Today we will talk about the incorruptible Rebbe. I'm not talking about my Rebbe, the late Lubavitcher Rebbe. I'm talking about his predecessor, the Rebbe Rabbi Yosef Yitzchak. Of course I believe that the Rebbe was incorruptible, but I want to tell you a story that is a true story that I heard twice from Izzy Starr. Yitzchak Starr of blessed memory was a prominent attorney in the city of Detroit for close to 60 years, who served in 1930 as the previous Rebbe's personal translator. The Rebbe came to this country in late 29, looking to gather funds to establish a yeshiva and to see if that yeshiva could be placed in these blessed shores of the United States of America. At that time, suddenly the Depression began, and it was clear that A, very little monies could be gathered here, and B, because of the economic conditions, the people in America, even though they were better off than their European compatriots, were not ready to establish a Hasidic yeshiva on these shores. However, the Rebbe continued after the Depression, began to go around the cities of the United States, both to gather whatever funds were available, and most importantly, to influence and encourage and to stir the hearts of our brethren, especially those whom the Rebbe knew from Russia. And so he came to Detroit in early 1930. When he arrived at the train station in Ann Arbor, about 10,000 Jews came to meet him at the train station, even though Ann Arbor is a good 40 miles outside of Detroit. And many of them escorted him to his hotel accommodations in Detroit, and the Rebbe set up his audiences at his hotel and participated in many rabbinic meetings during his time in Detroit. But the people in Detroit had suffered from the Depression. People who had been wealthy suddenly found themselves lacking the basic needs, and it was clearly apparent that the Rebbe wasn't going to get much financial support, although the Rebbe gave a lot of spiritual support and met many friends that he had seen and known beforehand in Russia. One of the people who knew the Rebbe from the city of Lubavitch was a person born in Lubavitch by the name of Max or Moshe Osnes. Max Osnes owned Sam's 5 and 10. And Max, because it was a 5 and 10, like a nickel and dime store, was the only person in Detroit who still had a lot of money and could give a lot of money for a proper cause. Max loved the Lubavitcher Rebbe, but he also loved the limelight, wanted to show off that he knew the Rebbe and the Rebbe would come to him. And so he came to the hotel and asked Izzy Starr if he could give over to the Rebbe, that he's ready to give the Rebbe $25,000 if the Rebbe would come to his home and have a meal with him, break bread with him. Izzy Starr went to the secretary. He believed it was Chacha Fagan. I don't believe it was that one. It might have been another one. But Chacha told him under no circumstances would the Rebbe eat in a private home. That it would only eat from his own shochet, his own ritual. Slaughterer would not go to a private home in order not to offend anyone. So Izzy went out and told Max, no dice. The Rebbe doesn't eat by anybody private. So Max upped the ante. He said, I'll give him $100,000 if the Rebbe will come and drink a glass of tea in my house. This time, Izzy said, I went direct to the Rebbe. I ran into the door. The Rebbe was in a pose where the Rebbe was deep in concentration with his foot on the stool, thinking deeply a deep concept. And I blurted out, Rebbe, Max Osnes is ready to give the Rebbe $100,000 if the Rebbe will only come and drink a glass of tea by him. The Rebbe remained silent for a few seconds and turned to me and he says, no, I'm not going to go. And I, said Izzy, went out of my mind. I said, the Rebbe, why? The Rebbe needs money. Why won't you go? And the Rebbe answered, Izzy, you're a logical boy. You understand things. Max Osnas is not the only one who knows me from Lubavitch. There are many dozens of people in Detroit who know me from Lubavitch. And many of them still keep the Holy Sabbath, the Shabbos. And Max, I don't believe, keeps Shabbos. So what will they say if I come to Max's house and not to their house? They will say that I keep Shabbos. I'm still a good Jew. And Max is a no-goodnik. He doesn't keep Shabbos. So why did the Rebbe go to him? Only because of money. So by the Rebbe, money is more important than Shabbos. That's what they will say. Better I should not get the money, said the Lubavitcher Rebbe, and not affect the keeping of Shabbos of that person. And the Rebbe never got that $100,000. And this was at the height of the Depression. And people checking on the Rebbe's finances knew later on that this $100,000 would cover the entire deficit of the Lubavitcher Yeshiva and all of the Rebbe's activities for the next 10 years till the Rebbe came to these blessed shores in 1940. And yet the Rebbe would not accept a penny if it would negatively affect another Jew. That's how incorruptible he was. There was not an ounce or an iota of deviation from what the Torah wanted. And he would never do anything that would hurt or affect another Jew negatively. Only on those foundations would the Rebbe build the holy yeshivas of Temchet Mimim and all of his institutions that came out.